गुरुर्मूर्ति पूजामूलं गुरुर्पदम् मन्त्रमूलं गुरुर्वाक्यम् मोक्षमूलं गुरुर्कृपा ॐ श्री गुरवे नमः।
Well-wisher of mankind or destroyer of mankind, what should we expect from the future configuration? Examine the configurations of planets at the time of Jesus, Hitler. That will give you some clue. But the philosophy behind astrology is much more important. There are textbooks on astrology, they are different. Textbooks give some basic guidance for the basic astrologer. But a deeper understanding of the basis of astrology is more important. That's what I say. It's not impossible. We can swim and dive also. We can go deeper. See, diving is not possible for a man who does not know swimming. First swimming, and then diving, and then deep. With an oxygen cylinder, you can go 7 kilometers deep into the sea. What is not possible? Astrology is the most interesting subject to the brilliant intellectual of today. Astrology, I don't mean astrology that we read in textbooks, horoscopy and muhurta and these things, they are not important. Even muhurta is there. Is it all perfect? That are we fixing an excellent muhurta? Muhurta is part of the destiny of the man. If his days are good, he gets a good muhurta, not otherwise. And we talk of vastu and all that. Does it change the man's destiny? So there are only two forces that are governing our lives. Individual destiny of the man, result of his past life actions, plus all-pervading divinity. That is the ultimate force that is governing our life. These put together is our experience. One cannot say, oh, this house is having doorways on the wrong side, therefore you are not getting this or that. That's not. It's just a doorway or in a particular house cannot change his destiny. Even more. So we have to have a mega view of these thoughts. Unless we contribute a chapter on the divinity behind the planets and the philosophy of astrology. Perhaps those people who believe in the divine force and the creation by the Creator and the destiny of the mankind, they can understand this logic better. A non-believer is totally happy. He doesn't believe in God, he doesn't believe in astrology, he doesn't believe in anything vastu. He is independently. Oh yes, he is moving happily. He is the happiest man. The non-believer is happier than the believer. In fact, he is enjoying his life. And that is part of his destiny. Even that is destiny. So we have to cater to the needs of logical thinkers who question the validity of astrology, They may be, but there are people who don't believe in astrology, they believe in God. They may understand this logic. So take the examples of these important men in the 2000 years. When even Krishna was born, along with Krishna, several devils were also born. For 10 years this side or that side. And by the time when he was born, India was totally, the entire subcontinent was ruled by evil people. There were no good people, but the people were good. They were learned Brahmins, honest Brahmins, good Brahmins, well-wishers of mankind, great Kshatriyas, great Brahmins. But they too turned evil by the time the war was taking place. So, but one man who could understand the entire picture, he started acting in his own way, without taking a sword in his hand, try to reform the entire country, eliminate the evil people one by one, nicely, without declaring a war. So we always think of Krishna playing with the girls in his childhood. That is not important. He lived 120 years. The playing with the girls in the childhood is only for 10th year, 11th year. Then he lived another 110 years. Why don't you think of the deeds of Krishna the rest of the time? So in fact, an analysis of Krishna's life would also, we can justify these planets. Some horoscope is given of Krishna also. We can correlate the divine forces on the presiding over the planet and the personality of Krishna. It would be an interesting analysis. Anyway, I have thought of many things, but I can't put anything on paper today. My energies are not, a concentration of mind is not sufficient. It likes to sleep, it likes to relax, looking at the clouds and the sun and moon, not thinking at all. I am in the Sunday of my life. 6 days are over, weekdays. Now I am enjoying my Sunday, the last ticket. So people don't do anything serious on Sundays. They go and attend a football match because they have worked hard on 6 days. Like that, at the man already 84, I don't like to do any hard work because I can't. If I start doing it, there will be so many defects in this. So my right eye doesn't read, left eye reads. There is some recurvation. They are part of nature, nothing to complain about it. I must thank God that I have been all right. I am even today eating and talking. So, aging is not a sickness. Sickness is not aging. Aging is not sickness, it's nature. Like we treat pregnancy of a woman as doctors attending on it. Doctors should attend only on a disease and a sickness. And pregnancy is not sickness. We have to distinguish between. So anyway, our attitude to these sciences that are dealing with destiny of mankind primarily and then individually. We have to think on these things. Thinking makes you lighter, not worried. We don't have to worry about anything. The storm was there. God gave some concessions also in this storm. He did not fully batter us. Halfway it went down, calmed down. He did not extensively damage it. Except the water. There's so much of water. Water doesn't stay, it flows out. Even we have cancelled some air travel. Doesn't matter. The pilots had a rest. The good part of it is the pilots enjoyed a holiday. And the travels were all cancelled. So there is good and bad mixture. There is no exclusive bad, there is no exclusive good. Always it's a mixture. It's a potpourri. We have to enjoy. There are 10 places, 10 things on the table. We have to choose what to eat. It's a compulsion. Anyway, these are the things I wanted to share with you. Are we meeting again? I will go in the afternoon to his place. On the way, I visit the lady doctor, about whom I said, her husband is in distress. I spent some time on the way with them. And then onward journey, our parent, what is the name of the place?
Oakdale.
Okay, I'll stay there tomorrow also. And the day after I'll return.
Yeah, we'll come back on Saturday.
Please do. We must sit together. I'll go on talking something else. You are a patient man.
No, interesting. Very interesting. Last night I became curious because of what you were talking about, and I looked up Genghis Khan. And I couldn't find the date of his birth, but I did find the time when he took the name Genghis Khan. It's, up until that point he was just a rebellious youth, and he was going out and fighting, but he didn't have an army. But now he actually took the name Genghis Khan, and then he started his campaigns. Okay? But that was actually during a Saturn Ketu conjunction, which I thought was kind of interesting. Ketu represents the Mongolian people, and they say Ketu is a Buddhist, so it's kind of...
Yes.
Anyway, that was kind of interesting.
Ketu rules departure, separation. Suddenly two things are separated. Ketu rules. Ultimately, even when a hanky drops from your hand, that is Ketu. It's anything from the minormost to the mega. That is why Ketu is ruling moksha. The jiva permanently leaves this material world, never to come back. And it doesn't assume another body. And moksha is nothing but emancipation from the rigmarole and the continuous botheration of rebirth, and every birth accompanied there is a death, there is sorrow, nothing to really enjoy in this world. So the cessation of the rebirths, chain of birth, is ascribed to Ketu. But this soul gets relieved from this material world, never to come back. Therefore, that element is there. Among the sciences with a spiritual background, Yajna is also a science with a spiritual background, but it is ritual, no thinking about it, not even 2 minutes of thought. It is not there in the Yajna. Continuous ritual, chanting the mantras, offering to the fire. But there is a spiritual secret behind it, and it's likely to be. But unless the yajna is attended to by proper material supply, it should be purified. The Brahmin who presides over the yajna must have a pure mind. He should have the God in his mind, the devas, the various deities in his mind. It all depends on the purity of the material and the man. Then yajna gives the results. But these two, purity, high level of purity, are the people involved, are the material involved. What is meant by purity of the material? It must be hardened by me. I can't demand things from people, collect money from others and try to save a part of it for myself. That's not pure money, it doesn't yield anything. Contribution voluntarily by pure, honestly earned money. Yes, if you want to perform a yajna about 2 years, let us start saving from your hard-earned money a little, put it aside. Do the yajna only with that, without demanding money from others. So, in fact, material supplies, money, they should be pure. The purity of the material yields the results of the yajna. There is no such purity. Sometimes people say, Vishwashanti, for the peace of the whole world, I am performing this, they say. Peace of the world. How can one yajna without that high degree of purity, how can we do it? So that has become a routine action. Rather than that, silent meditation and prayer for the good of the mankind is far more powerful than this yajna. And one secret I tell you, but it's not written anywhere. After the birth of Buddha, the mantras of the Vedas have become powerless, not as powerful as before. Because I know he was not an ordinary individual, a powerful conscience, powerful mind, powerful self, he went on dismissing the importance of yajna. Don't indulge in, yajna is of no use, it will not give you moksha. Anything that gives you moksha alone is good for you, not anything else. Even something that gives you heavens, that's not important. Don't indulge in seeking heavens. So they totally condemned the process. He did not say that the yajna is wrong, yajna is powerless and all that. But he condemned the people's attitude towards yajna. Think only of moksha, think only of emancipation. Get rid of this kind of this nonsense, this rebirth and rebirth and rebirth. You are suffering. Your attitude must be changed. So he did not condemn the yajna, he condemned the attachment to yajna by the people. He knows the power of yajna very well. He knows the Vedas, message of the Vedas. But his attitude, he condemned the attitude of the people, their shraddha, their interest in yajna. That's of no use to you. So Gita itself is saying it. Even Krishna said, Kshini Punya Marchaloki Vishanti. All right, you go to heavens. But as soon as your merit is exhausted, you have to come down. Not a permanent escape from karma. So the Aryan attitude, the Hindu attitude has always laid stress on the importance of moksha. But that doesn't mean that there is nothing else during your lifetime on there. You have to live well. You should not commit any crime. You should be a well-wisher of your neighbors and humankind. Be an ideal human being and then leave it without any blemish. Blemish that I have earned during my lifetime on the earth, that accompanies where I go. So it doesn't give me peace. Here I might have, yes, I can cheat a few people and billions and I think I'm enjoying it. But it's not enjoyment. I'm earning demerit. Very well. Therefore, man is committing in karma good and bad. Yajna is not adding to it. Don't take so much interest in yajna. No doubt that's a well-laid path. The Creator has laid a path. By yajna you attain this. By yajna you can attain this. By incessant yajna you can attain heavens. Like highways in all directions. But rather than thinking of ultimate departure, never to come back, why do you think of this? In this process, what had happened is the power of Veda mantras reduced because the power of his personality. Later, today, any Veda mantra is full of life. Although it's a collection of a few words, combination of a few sentences, there is an inherent power in the swara, the tone, the intonation, the pronunciation, and the swara. Swara, intonation and pronunciation, they are two different things. Like, even in the ordinary speech, the intonation is conveying the meaning. Suppose I say, I want to, did you ever hear Indian music? I want to say. Did you ever listen? Did you ever listen Indian music? It is stress on every word gives a different attitude. So Veda mantra is something like that. So the intonation and pronunciation, variations in the stress on the voice, that ultimately, there is swara in Veda mantra. He said, Vedas are not important, our tapas is important. Vedas are great, no doubt. But they are attaching you to the material universe more than detaching you from it. The Vedas have made the great, more stronger, they have resulted in the stronger attachment of the man to this material world. They have not been teaching you what is ultimately important to you. No choice. In this process, the Vedas became powerless because of the power of his conscience, his word, his mind, his thought. Therefore, the Vedas lost their inherent living life power. They are there, but they have left this world. The life of the living life force of the Veda mantra cannot be destroyed. But they have leftist world, because suppose a certain concept is not receiving any attention somewhere, that concept leaves that area. That's it. So Vedamantra became powerless, with the result that Prana Pratishtha invoked the Veda mantra into a vessel of water, and then he invoked, lend your life force into the Veda mantra, and then use it. This process has come into existence. Investing the Veda mantra with life, that has become a process today. There was no need to invest life force into the work, it was naturally powerful, not today. So Buddha is a kind of a he did great damage to the tradition of Veda mantras, but his teaching is ultimate. You can't say he is wrong. He is not wrong. He is much more right than many people, but it doesn't apply to the common man society. Moksha cannot be attained by a group of people, like pilgrimage in a busload of pilgrims. It's not so. Cannot be. You have to think about this. Write down something, let us